Well, good afternoon. This is Tom Breaker again. It is Sunday afternoon, October 6th. I'm on the grounds of the Fort Scott National Historic Site. I'm behind what they call the officers' quarters. These were the buildings built to house the officers and their families. A lot of the officers' families came out west with them, and this is where the families would stay. Behind the barracks here, there are several rock buildings I thought I'd talk about just a little bit. They've got some original things, and they have some stuff here that's not original, but it looked close enough they kept it for the fort. They've got some walls here. They're laid up. The walls are local native limestone, and they add some privacy from yard to yard. And they've got a couple garden sheds here. You can see this one here. The rock looks pretty nice. I don't know that it's been tooled really well, but it's not as square as some, but it still lines up well. It's laid in rows again, kind of like brick or block would be. You've got some places here where you got some small rocks with other ones there that take up about the same size as some of these larger rocks do. So they really worked hard to get them to look nice, at least on the sides here, in terms of how the lines laid out. The lines on the front of this one lay out pretty nicely as well. I'm not sure, I know what lentils are. You see there's a piece of wood that goes clear through right there. I do not know why that would go clear through that way. I can understand a lentil over the door, but to have it go clear through the front of the building like that, I'm not sure what the purpose of that was. So there's this one, then there's another building very similar to it down on the other end. By that wall, and again, that one is not laid quite in the clean lines that this first building was. You can see the rocks there are different sizes, some laid flat, some laid vertically. It still looks nice, and it also has that lintel that goes clear through the front end of the building. As we get around here, see some of the officers' quarters on the back side of this one. The one that we just looked at earlier, that lintel again goes right through the entire building. But they do look nice. They're still in pretty good shape, and rock will last forever if you take care of it. It looks like they've done some tuck pointing on the mortar to make it look clean and help preserve it. Now there's another building here too that this was not original with the fort. This building, and there's another one down the way here, were kind of garages that people had built after the fort closed in 1853. All the land was sold off in 1855, and people started building homes. And this was a garage that was built somewhere after 1853. Don't know exactly what the year is. Some similar construction methods. They've got the beam for the lintel over the door there. They've got a smaller beam. You can see it there over this door, over this window right there. That looks like it's bowing out just a little bit. And then there's a big door here that goes into where the family would put their carriage or whatever. Right now, interestingly, in here, they've got these doors open so we can kind of see in there a little bit. This was an ambulance. You can see the two pillows and the beds up there. So if somebody was sick and they had to be taken somewhere, they could use this wagon for an ambulance. And they've got a small wagon over here that might have just been used for going to town or going somewhere else in town. And you can see on the inside here, the walls are, again, they're solid rock all the way through, and it's not trimmed up quite as nicely on the inside as it was on the out. And then here you've got the floor for the second floor, and here, if you look at it, you can see there's a gap. You can see clearly the window that there is up there on the second floor. So exactly what's on the second floor, I'm not sure. Exactly how you get up there. I don't see a stairway in here, so there must be a trap door with a ladder or something that would let you get up there. Actually, it looks like maybe right here, if you see that. It looks like that was where you would get up. See, there's an opening there, and I can see the wall for the second floor. So you probably put a ladder up to this gate right there, and then go up into the second floor. But this building's been real nicely preserved. You've got the wooden lintel. The rocks are not real well tooled, but they lay in very nicely. And again, that wall is really nice and straight, doesn't bow a lot. When I was looking at these, the second window looked like that lintel dips just a little bit, and I put my level up to it, and where this one is almost perfect, this one dips off to this side just a little bit. So, you know, I'm not going to fault them for it. They did a really nice job on the building, and if that one's a dip a little bit, you know, hey, the building's lasted 150, 200 years almost, so they did a pretty good job. Now here, when in these other buildings, you can kind of see over here where that lintel goes right through the whole thing. In this building, I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of it was, but they got a piece of wood that comes in about 3 feet. I don't know exactly why that's there. They got it on this side, then they have it again on this side. I may have to do some research to figure out what purpose that would have served. But well, look here. Here's the wall for the garden, and there's another garden wall here. Well, they've got some really pretty signs here. They kind of show what the spaces were used for. See, they show some kids playing with kites and hoops here, and show some officers would have been on the back steps there, and some of the officers' wives would be working in the garden. And it looks like they've got a servant here with them, probably a slave at the time. But they did, you know, picking, they're showing some grapes here. So the backyard was a place where they could have some privacy and do some things that, you know, out of the sight of the enlisted men. I'm going to walk down to this other building. It's got one feature that I kind of like, where the door in the first building I looked at here had a lintel over it. This has got an arch for the doorway, and I'm kind of partial to arches. It's got two big doorways on the front, probably again one where they could put a carriage, and the other one where you could just walk in. But you see they've got arches over this one, and an arch again over this one. They've got the wooden lintels over these other windows and that. Got a window up there, but here they've got the arches laid in, and I like these arches. Their rocks are all uniform size. They can make a nice even arch there, and the weight, it's supported by the weight. Then they've got a blank that they fill in above the door, so the door doesn't have to shape like the arch does. And then again on this arch, again the rocks are all very uniform in height from top to bottom. They're also very uniform in width. They all look very similar, and the arch holds very well. An architect friend of mine said that the arch doesn't have to hold all that weight up there. That our arch holds, you know, the arch is really responsible supporting about like that, because the weight kind of distributes out to the sides, and that's getting into parts of architecture I don't really understand. But that is what we've got here this afternoon. It's kind of a cloudy day, so it's kind of nice and cool. It's early October, and again we've got this again is more of a rubble construction. The rock isn't finally worked like it was in some other buildings that we've looked at here at the grounds, and but it all lays in very nice and straight, and it's lasted for, well, figures it was built in 1870. This is 1920, 150 years. Don't build too many buildings today that last that long. So, this is Tom Breaker. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like these, the Fort Scott National Historic Site is open every day, so come and take a look. And we'll see you around some other rock buildings.